Alright, today's class is project management and administration. We will be defining the different roles on the project. And we'll be learning what each of those job descriptions that you see actually do on a job site. First of all, what makes a successful project?
Safe project.
Number one, the most important one, safe project. If you complete a project without any injuries, that's a great deal. Second of all, you need to select the right players. You don't want any lazy engineers or someone who does not show up, or because if someone does not show up, he's lazy, he's not the right person, he does not have the right experience, he can actually drag you back instead of pushing you forward. You need pre-planning, scheduling, coordinating. Before you start, you need to know what you're gonna do. Also, you need a complete estimate. One that is really good. One that was developed aggressively. You need communication between different players, and you need to make sure that you have good quality assurance and quality control. We will talk about those two terms later. And there is a question in the homework 6, about those two in particular. Of course, and organization and adaptability are keys to a successful project. Let's start with identifying project management and administration. What is project management? What do we mean by project management?
Someone who manages the project, like does all the make sure the sub is doing what it needs to do.
That's the project manager. Talk about project management. Project management is the team that is managing that project. And administration, it's actions taken. So just let's differentiate between the two terms. The management is the team. It includes the project manager, it includes the superintendent, estimators, all those people. And the administration, it's those actions that are taken. So actions that are required to achieve the established project goals. And for project management, it's allocation and efficient, judicious allocation and efficient use of resources to achieve timely completion of a project within the established construction budget. And as a resource, human resources, you're dealing with that. The objectives of project management and administration. Who can name the first one? Let's see. Matt.
Go ahead. Identify common project management positions and common project stations.
Who can explain that? I love the eye contact, so go ahead. What do you think that means? First thing, you need to identify the needs that you have in the project. So, identify project management positions. How many superintendents do I need? Do I need the project manager and the project engineer, or do I need just one of them? What is the size of the project that you are dealing with? So it depends on all of that. Go ahead. Also, the second one, identify tools required for project management and administration. You need to see what tools you need to achieve that goal. What do we mean by tools? We will touch up on that later, but let's see. What do we mean by tools? Administration tools, management tools. So skills, it's more like you have the skills, but tools, it's something that you use. What do you think? Like, what are the things that you learn to use? Name one course. Of course, software. We use software. It's one of the tools. We use softwares for 3D, like just visualizing the project. We use software to quantity takeoffs, estimating. Some people use some softwares for scheduling. So those are the tools. What are the tools that we really are going to use? We need to identify those. It's one of the objectives. And identify the need for job records and what tools are commonly used for job records. Who understands what do we mean by job records? Let's imagine that Chance here is a superintendent on a project and he needs to take records of what? Question is not for you. Chance, what do you think?
You say,
I'm asking, like, we have a superintendent on the job.
What would you say?
He needs to take records of what? Can you give me an example of something?
It's records on the site every night.
So, like, there is something called the daily report. Goes every day and like check on this. Yeah. He checks what is on the site, how many workers are there, all of that.
How many hours they work,
All of that. Tools, what they have, all the tools, the equipment that they have also. He needs to take notes and make the owner representative sign on it, the contractor sign on it. So they have to keep records. And keeping records is very important. And if you don't identify who is going to take that record, you will have a problem on the job site. So, a general and typical project organization chart. You remember we talked about organizational charts, and we said that they are very important. So we have a company management, then below that you have the project manager, and on a different line you have the pre-construction manager. So we have pre-construction manager, estimator, procurement manager, and then while building the project you have the project manager, project engineer, field engineer, superintendent, foreman, subcontractor. We can see that the biggest chain is the one where you are actually building the project. You have the pre-construction phase, where you have pre-construction manager, estimator, just to know how much it will cost you, and procurement manager. We will talk about the job description for each one of those and the requirements for all of those. And then you have the management part, where you have accounting, you have the supportive management parts. Let's start with the pre-construction manager. What are the responsibilities of the pre-construction manager? Remind me.
They're responsible for all estimates and goals.
Yep. Also, he's responsible for providing a safety measures and plan for the project. And Who were here when Yates presented and they showed us the video of the 3D construction site where they started building stuff, and they said that they present that to the owner before actually starting the project. This is one of the pre-construction phases. They'll just go and they present their safety plan. They will show the owner how they will handle safety, how they will handle storing maybe equipment or materials on the site. And all of this helps in understanding how the project will go, and they won't really have problems while actually building, and they won't have delays while they're actually constructing the project. Also, he reviews unit prices, production rates. He reviews the general condition costs, the profit. He makes sure that, well, this project is really profitable for the company. And he reviews the proposed project management and administration plan. So once they land the project, they will start wondering, like, how are we going to manage this project? What are the jobs that we need? So they create a plan. And then the pre-construction manager will review it and say, well, I think we need a position here or a position there. We need to have 2 people to administer that task. We have the estimator then. Who is in estimating 1 right now? Who took it before? All right, Zach. What do you do in estimating? Let's imagine that you are an estimator on a project. Just explain to us briefly your duties, one of your assignments.
We have to create like a basis of estimate,
Mm-hmm.
like it's what the owner will look at, review on everything, allowances, how much roughly, how much it costs, and what type of class estimate it would be. There's 5 classes, class 5, class 1, class 3, 2, 1.
Excellent. Yeah. And in order to do that, what are the things that you review and look at? Is there any documents? How would you come up with an estimate?
Right now, I'm in estimating 2. We have to use Excel.
You have to use Excel. You look at the construction documents, and then you start taking quantities. You do quantity takeoffs. You understand that? Then you will start placing the price. So, can you start your name? So you do quantity takeoffs. You review subcontractor visits, and you generate a project estimate using Excel or any other software. Now they generate some estimates using some add-ins with Revit. If you have a 3D model that is detailed for that project, you can actually generate an estimate for it. The procurement manager. So if you look at this construction organization chart, we have a pre-construction manager, estimator, and the procurement manager. Like, those are just job descriptions. However, if you are in a smaller company, all of those might be done by just one person. The same pre-construction manager is doing estimating and he's doing procurement. So they might be done by 2 or 1. So the procurement manager, what does he do? In summary, he human resources, people for his job, and materials and equipment for the job. Okay? We have the project manager, the big guy, the end of the career for many people. The main and major responsibility for a project manager, what is it? Safety. Safety is really important. Why do you think safety is really important? Yeah, go ahead.
Because if you don't make sure your crew is working safely, they can potentially sue you.
This is one reason, and there is also the ethical reason. Like, it's people's lives. You know, those workers are supporting families.
Mm-hmm.
What other responsibilities that the project manager do? Planning, scheduling. So, who can explain scheduling for me? So, what does it exactly mean?
I mean, they don't exactly make the schedule, they just update it, and whenever things slow down in the project or something happens, you get a big rain, they tweak it and modify it throughout the construction process to match what actually is happening on the job.
So they basically manage the schedule, because it's almost impossible to have a schedule and like for a project of, let's say, like 1 year, and that schedule stays the same, like, you know, everything works smoothly, you have no problems, you know, maybe it's less than 1% of the projects that goes this way. So there usually are some problems, they have to tweak it, they have to update that schedule for them. Who usually starts, you know, the schedule from scratch? Who? The scheduler.
Or the estimator.
Exactly. Sometimes the estimator. So one of the estimator's duties can be updating or doing the schedule, because cost and schedule and time, they are connected and related. Also, he's responsible for quality assurance and quality control. And I will pass on the quality assurance and quality control because we will compare the two later. He's responsible for the job cost and the cost control. So for a project manager, he needs to make sure that this task is not exceeding the cost that we put it for. Because if it exceeds that cost, you will start eating from the profit. You will lose, you know, on that task. So you need to make sure that all the cost stays in its boundaries. Also, he manages the payment requests for owners, subcontractors, and suppliers. And he's the contact of the GC for the owner. The project superintendent. The superintendent and the project manager, they share many of the responsibilities with one difference. You can tell me what is the difference between being a superintendent and being a project manager?
About $50,000.
And salary, of course, other than that. Tristan, what do you think? Chandler.
It seems like the project manager's kind of like just overall, like the overall project, with project superintendent goes over day-to-day
Exactly.
stuff.
Excellent. Interesting. So the superintendent goes day to day, and task to task, and he has like a microscopic view of what is happening. He has a direct relationship with the foreman, with everything that is happening on the site. The project manager has a more a broad view, or a way, like he manages bigger problems. So as you said, a day-to-day. So who is responsible for creating the daily reports? It's the superintendent. You won't expect the project manager, having a daily report and going, taking notes. He will miss everything. But in order to be a project manager, you need to start with the superintendent so that you have that knowledge and that experience. Also, we have the job engineer too. Job engineers, they depend on the size of the project. So if you are working on a smaller project, you won't really find the project manager, job engineer, and superintendent. They might be like the job engineer and the superintendent will be the same person doing that, and they will report to a project manager. Also, we have the owner's agent on the project. You need to have an owner's person. Thank you. What does that owner person do? Who didn't sign this one? The attendance sheet. So from the owner's side, you might have a consulting company that will send many representatives just to make sure that you are doing what is in the contract. And that might be the architect for the things that the architect understands. It might be a geotechnical engineer if you are doing some foundations or these things on soil. Maybe a civil engineer, structural engineer if you are doing structures. So it varies according to what the owner sends. What?
Yeah, basically, he's going to send each person, make sure everything's up to code. The architect's going to go make sure everything's going according to the blueprints. And then you'll have, the fire inspector and all that to make sure all your sprinkler and all that's up to code.
Yeah. But if you are doing the sprinklers, you're not going to send an architect because he does not understand that. So you need someone with that expertise. So that's why I'm saying it's it changed according to the phase of the project. Thank you. You remember we talked about the tools before? So let's list the tools that help us. The main tool that helps us now is a computer. And in that computer we have the scheduling softwares, we have mailing software, we have takeoff software, we have accounting software. We use emails for communication, and those emails keep all the communication in record. Also, sometimes we have BIM stations inside the project, where instead of going and looking at 2D prints, you will have a station that has a computer, and you go look for the whole model. Also, we use telephones, we use faxes, printers, and other equipment for surveying and all of that. Project administration tools. If you remember, we differentiated between two things: project management and project administration. So project administration, what do we have in project? What are the tools that we use for project administration? Use a pre-construction meeting. Those are the actions that you need to take. Meetings, progress meeting minutes. You need to keep record of all of that. Cash flow, as-built documents, request for informations. All those actions that you take during a project, you need to keep record of them, and they help you administer the job. Those are the tools that you use for a successful administration. Quality assurance and quality control. What is the difference between those two?
Well, QA, quality assurance, means it's gonna make sure that it happens, like assurance.
Okay, and what about control? Quality control. So quality assurance, you said making sure that it's happening. I like that.
One is dealing with why you're doing it, and one is dealing with it after it's done.
Exactly. Do you use Google?
Huh?
Do you use Google for that?
When you're as smart as me, you don't have to.
Yeah. Okay. Let's clap for Chance for being smart. Okay, I don't have any stickers, so I'll give you one.
No, it kind of happens when you forget to take a 100 level class and
Yeah.
your year.
So quality assurance deals with the methods that will lead you to a product. Quality control deals with the finished product. So quality control, the quality control is concerned with ensuring that the work is accomplished in accordance with the requirements specified in the contract. So, to mean by this, it's the final product compliant. However, for assurance, it's owner's oversight of a construction project where owner representative monitor the contractor's quality control plan and make spot check inspections during the construction. So before actually handing in the final product, they will make sure that it was done right, as Chris is saying. I was saying, like, making sure that it will happen. Make sure that it's done correctly, and that makes sure that we will have a final product that meets the requirements. So, in order to guarantee quality control, we send, maybe the contractor will send an inspector. And what is the inspector's job? To inspect. What do we mean by inspect? Yeah.
To make sure that it's safe and that follows all the regulations and guidelines.
Can be that. That's right. Thank you. So, by following the guidelines, we mean the contract. So, because in any construction project, the Bible of that construction project is the contract. And who was here when Yates presented? Okay. So, do you remember when that lady was talking about contracts and insurance? And I think Robert, he said that, well, when I have a problem with any issue, I go and ask her, and the first questions that she would ask me, is that in the contract or not? So, the contract is really important. Anything is connected to that contract. So The inspector just observes and makes sure that the construction process or the final product that they are delivering meets the requirements of the contract. And quality control involves inspection, testing, and documentation of materials, workmanships, and methods. And who usually does it? Can the architect engineer does it? He can, for sure. But do you think that the architects or engineers would go and actually do it? Why not? What's your name? Remind me. Chandler. Go ahead, Chandler. Why do you think that the architect or the engineer is not going to go and take that job to inspect? Aaron, what do you think? I have no idea. Well, so what's up? How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
Good. So, what do you think? About the architect? Do you think that the architect or the engineer would go and inspect the project?
The thing is right when he made it.
And why is that? Why the architect want to prefer to go and do the inspection?
Not his role.
One of things, not his role. Do you think that he has the expertise to do so?
Yes. He went to school to get engineering.
So usually, if you go and do the inspection, it comes with responsibility. So if something goes wrong, you can account the architect liable because he did the inspection. And many architects and engineering firms, they won't take that responsibility. And there is a word that they use, supervision. Who heard of supervision? That word is very vague. It implies that when you supervise someone, that you take responsibility for their actions. So many architects and engineers, they will go, no, I'm not gonna use that word or be inspector or do the quality control or quality assurance. So Aaron, why the architects and engineers, they don't want to go and do inspections? I just answered it.
They don't want their responsibility.
They don't want the responsibility that comes with it. Okay. Thank you, Chaz. We talked about quality assurance. Let's talk about job records. So, why do we keep records of everything that happens on a job site?
Just in case something happened down the line, and they have responsibility for liability.
Exactly. If a dispute or a claim or a problem happened, and they called you to court, if you don't have records to defend yourself, then it will be a word for word, and you will have problems. But if you have records, you can prove, well, on that day, well, it was raining, we did not work, and this is the daily record that, and I can show it. It has their project manager's signature, it has the owner's signature, and so all your claim is false. It helps you winning. So what do you think, Chance? Especially that you are taking a law course now, construction law.
I mean, it just covers your butt, basically. It's just like with spirit doctrine, you have to be able to prove without any reasonable doubt that you did exactly what they told you to do. That if the building fails, then it's not your fault.
Thank you very much for that explanation. change request management. If you have future estimates, so it helps you in disputes and it helps you in future estimates too. And if you remember, like each company will have their own database that helps them do the estimating for a project. So, and that comes from previous project records. So they know like how long it will take their subcontractor to do like a wall, to do a concrete job, and how much it will cost them. And sometimes if you have a repeated owner, it will help you dealing with that repeated owner. You know, it's a project or one of those big companies, assume like Walmart, they build many branches all over the country, so they don't go and hire a new contractor for each one of those. They just deal with someone and they do it, or sometimes they do it in-house. So they have records of the cost and everything that they use. And if you have delay disputes and liquidated damages, sometimes you will have a delay on a project, and you as a contractor, if you are keeping good record, you can show that it's not your fault, and you can show that using the job records or the daily records that you have. We said that job records will help you solve the claims and disputes. Why do we have claims and disputes? Okay. What would make, a contractor or owner go for a dispute or a claim? You as a contractor, why would you go and submit a claim? They didn't pay you. Exactly. You'll go and claim. Come on, if you want me to finish the job, you need to pay me. I can't build it for you with my money. You need to submit some payments. If there are some changes, delays of interference, maybe someone on the job site is not making you finishing your job. So just a quick question about delay of interference. Did you guys look up what is happening in the pipeline, the oil pipeline in North Dakota? After we mentioned it in class? No, just look it up and see, because it really it deals with what we are talking about in class. So because of political movements, interference in the construction process, they are delaying the construction there. That is causing problems for the contractor that is dealing with it. Maybe sometimes you will have errors in the design. You start building it, you have an error here. This can't be built. So you submit a claim, changing order, try to fix that problem. Sometimes you will have variations in bid item quantities. You need to fix that because you will lose money. Yeah. What is the process, like when you have a claim, what is the process for submitting that claim getting solved? I summarize it in five bullet points. First one, you need to inform the owner with your claim. You have a claim, you inform the owner. Then, after you inform the owner, second point, decide.
Contract to inform owner of cost or schedule.
Yeah. So if there is a claim or something in the project, the owner needs to know that there is that claim, and then you need to tell them, well, there has been a change, and I think it will cost you a little bit more, and it will delay the project by 3 days. to do that. Then the owner will go and review that with the agent, the architect, the engineers that he works with, and then they will inform the contractor with their decision. And sometimes they might not agree on it, and they might not reach a solution. So they go to something called arbitration. Who heard of that word before? Again, what do you think? Have you heard of arbitration before?
I have, but I can't tell you the
Well, so what is the difference between arbitration and litigation? Which takes more time and money? Litigation. What happens in litigation? You go to law, to court, to the court of law, and you sometimes it takes years in court. In arbitration, you go to an expert in the field and you ask for his opinion. And whatever that expert, like of course that expert should be agreed upon from both parties. Whatever that expert says, all parties need to comply with. Then we have mediation, where you have contractor, the owner, their teams, they sit on the same table and they try through, or sometimes you have a mediator between them. They try to solve it. Sometimes they do mini trials, and sometimes they do dispute review boards. We need to understand the difference between litigation and arbitration. This is very important here. So arbitration is commonly used. Just making sure that I haven't missed anything. So job records tools, we use daily logbooks, as-built drawings, we use job files, meeting minutes, field reports, you take photographs, submittals, and quality assurance and quality control programs. So I'll leave it for you guys so that you present, and we have 2 other online groups that we missed presenting when Yates came here. So, come on. Do you want to? I'm not sure if there's a way to do it. Can you email it to me? Yeah, just email it to me. It's on PowerPoint. You can't leave. Why are you leaving?
I have work.
Why are you leaving?
I have work.
I don't care. You're supposed to be here until 45. Microsoft PowerPoint? What is it called? Construction organization presentation.
Yeah, that was mine. I just had like a separate.
Okay. Just make sure again.
Can you just there's no HDMI port in your computer?
Okay, let's okay. Okay. Meanwhile, until you figure this out, we will watch presentation from the online team.
Hello, I'm Nancy. And I will be representing our topic is the impact of 3D CAD in construction management. What is 3D CAD modeling? 3D CAD modeling stands for three-dimensional computer-aided design. Modeling enables us to bring the art drawings to life and see how objects will work in reality. Modeling allows for the visualization of designs that can be quickly and very inexpensively edited and adjusted. Here's an example of an element modeled within 3D CAD. So what is BIM? BIM stands for Business Information Modeling. Autodesk defines BIM as an intelligent 3D model-based process that equips architecture, engineering, and construction professionals with insight and tools to more effectively plan, design, construct, and manage buildings and infrastructures. BIM not only contains the architectural information, but also includes information regarding electrical systems, HVAC, plumbing, fire protection, structural, and civil. All in all, BIM is a one-stop shop for all the information regarding construction. Here's an example of a BIM clash detection model. This model contains models for each discipline: architectural, structural, fire protection, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. In this example, we see clashes between fire protection and plumbing. Each discipline would then get together and come up with a solution to clear the clash. This is all done within a 3D model, which will help alleviate issues during the construction process. Here are examples of 3D CAD components versus BIM components. 3D CAD components are called blocks. These can be very basic or very detailed components. On the right, you have the BIM components, which are families. Families can also be very detailed or basic, but can provide more in-depth detail when it comes to construction, what materials are being used, and how the material will last throughout the construction process and the life of the building. Here are examples of 3D CAD plans versus BIM plans. CAD plans are normally plan views and elevations of a building, whereas BIM plans can be made up of 3D models, 3D section views, and different angles of the building. Benefits of BIM over 3D CAD modeling include increased productivity, visualizations, simulations, quick changes, best possible designs, most cost-effective design. Let's discuss those now. Increased productivity. BIM allows for more automation. Making a change in one central place will automatically make changes everywhere. This decreases time needed for project edits and also helps decreases possibilities for mistakes. Visualizations quickly allows the creator and client to see an end design, see how walls, doors, windows, fixtures, etc. will look once built. They can also use the exact materials to render a visualization for the client. They're better able to communicate with clients on the end product and make sure any errors are caught before construction begins. Simulations are able to view how the building will react to different times of the day and different times of the year. See how the sun and weather can impact energy and efficiency. They can see how shadows may impact the comfort of the people using the building and ensure the best possible construction dimensioning for cost effectiveness. Quick changes can all be done in the central model, which allows for greater consistency and allows for better time management and reduces error. If it's fixed in one view, it's fixed in all. The best possible design. Because of the central design, it is easy to quickly make changes to see the impacts. We can try out many construction possibilities with little to no cost. Increased options can be easily presented to the client. Most cost-effective design. The bulk of the savings comes from operating a building over many decades. The designer can test different types of energy-saving methods before construction. How does airflow impact comfort? What windows provide the best insulation? And how do the building materials impact the temperature inside the building? The future of design. Augmented reality would allow users to walk around the site, and additive manufacturing allows 3D printers to build in industrial sizes. BIM is now being used in the industry in a major way. More and more architectural clients are using BIM clash detection models to alleviate issues and actually use these models on the construction site. Construction is progressing more and more, and BIM is being used more and more every day. Thank you.
Thank you very
Hello.
much.
My name is Amber Howlett, and I will be representing Group 11. Our topic is the
Are you guys ready? So thank you for Group 11. Now we have Group 31. Now we'll give them a chance to.
My name is Peyton, Spanish for Alabama, freshman, Southern Miss.
Raise your voice a little bit.
Raise my voice.
Yeah.
I'm majoring in construction engineering, and my only experience in construction is a couple of classes in high school.
My name is Dylan Malley. I'm from Diamond Head, Mississippi. I'm a sophomore here at Southern. I am a constructional management major, and I have about 5 years of construction experience, including carpentry, electrical, duct installation, landscaping, metal fabrication, remodeling, demolition, painting, and equipment operation.
My name is Chandler Lampley. This is my second semester as a freshman here. I'm born and raised here in Hattiesburg. I got a little carpentry experience from high school and heavy equipment experience in the Army.
OSHA, Occupational Safety and Hazard Administration. It's an administration under federal law. Their priority for carpentry is making sure the employer provides a safe workplace for his employees. They really push on employees knowing their rights, such as having the right to be provided PPE, safety equipment, working with safe products. You also have the right to, if you feel like you're working under unsafe conditions, you can file for an OSHA inspection. MSDS, Material Safety Data Sheet. So if you're working with a substance you don't know about it, you go to the MSDS and it'll tell you all about it, anything you need to know. First responders, it tells them how to help you if you've been exposed to the substance. PPE, personal protection equipment. It's just carpentry, you got hard hats, you got gloves, safety glasses.
Okay, so a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, just like a house is only as strong as its weakest beam. And that is why we have building codes. Building codes pretty much ensure that builders aren't trying to take the cheap way out and build a house really fast and have it be unsafe. These codes pretty much go down to the spacing between the nails, like it gets very specific. Two major things that they take into consideration when making these codes are vertical and shear forces. Vertical force is pretty much the force that the house puts down on itself with its own weight. Like say you have a brace holding up the roof up in the attic and they don't follow code and they don't put enough and the roof is too heavy, it breaks the braces and then it collapses. Then you also have shear force and it's pretty much the same thing except it's a force pushing sideways. So you could say have the rafter going down connecting to the joist and the weight of the roof pushes it down forcing it out and then again the roof collapses. And the IBC, the International Building Code, was created by the ICC in 1944 so that we will have the building standards that we have today. These are updated every 3 years, which puts contractors in a struggle sometimes because it's getting so specific and so hard for them to keep up. And it is the responsibility of the City Building and Safety Division to keep these contractors, engineers, and building inspectors up to date on these new codes.
Alright, with woodworking, the first thing you want to do with woodworking, you want to be safe. So wear, like Peyton said, your PPEs, whether it be your gloves, your safety glasses, or whatever it may be. And specifically with saws, because they're very sharp, the main saw I want to hit on is the table saw. The table saw is very deadly, well not deadly, but it's one of the most dangerous because it's the most widely used saw in woodworking. A few safety tips to keep from hurting yourself. You should change the blades on a regular basis, mainly because so you don't want them to get dull. If they get dull, the wood might kick back or the blade might break off. You want to use sharp blade bits for that reason also. Never reach over a blade while cutting, and you want to disconnect all power when changing blades because you don't want to cut yourself. Basically, that. Most simple rule: you want to avoid drugs and alcohol because if you come in impaired, you hurt yourself, your employer won't be liable. Be careful when installing anything. Be aware of hazards when lifting or carrying anything. Use other PPE like back belts or straps to carry any heavy equipment. When carrying heavy loads, some people like to stretch before lifting to keep from pulling muscles or straining the back muscles. And if anybody lifts weights, they know, lift with your legs, not with your back. You want to refrain from twisting the torso, keep your back as stiff as possible when lifting heavy objects, and hold the load as close to the body as possible. And that is all. It's our works cited page. If you have any questions? Any questions? No?
Let's clap for the So all you guys do is that you guys practice a little bit. So our reviewers, what do you have in mind? Start with Chris.
Dress nice. The titles of the slides were very creative. Like when it said boom, something.
Welcome, and thank you.
All right. What about you guys? What do you have for them?
They knew the material thoroughly. It was obvious that they practiced their presentation. They need to improve on speaking up when giving a presentation and try not to pitch as much.
Thank you very much. What about you, Rick?
They knew their slides pretty well. The slides themselves, they're pretty simple. I saw that the front slide, they're pretty much more straight to the point. looking up and whenever the code, he said 1944, was it 1944 or 1994?
Pretty sure it's 44.
44?
The slide is.
Slide is in 1994.
Okay, well, that was a typo, I had it right.
That's, I was just wondering about that, but that's pretty much what
Oh, dang it.
Thank you very much.
We got 5 minutes of class, this is the time for the video. Okay.
Alright, so we will watch this video again next time. You guys can leave. Just think.